Hi everyone, Scrappy Kathy here with a layout share, and it's it's Wednesday. I had hoped to do it Saturday or Sunday, but life got in the way, and I spent yesterday tending to my my aching back, and finally got insurance to approve an MRI, so I had that scheduled yesterday, so I did that and pretty much did nothing else because lying on the MRI table flat, even with my knees propped up, was just horribly uncomfortable, and I did my best not to move, and so I hope that was enough. Anyway, there are, I think, 16 pages here. There is a 17th one that I made without a photo, and I haven't put a photo on it yet, so I'll do that one. When it was a scrap backwards one, and when I do a scrap backwards process video right after this one, that'll be out later today, I will finish that page as well. And I usually report spending on here. I have no spending to report. I had ordered my inks, the printer inks from like last time, and I received them in this period, and so I won't have to buy any more for a while, I hope. I got the high capacity cartridges, so I hope that helps a lot. And I thought I needed 12 by 12 white printer paper, but I actually was cleaning out my stamp closet and I found I had them standing on their sides straight up in a shelf, and they were kind of curving, so I laid them down flat and then piled a bunch of other things around them, and so forgot they were there. So that was good. So that's money I don't have to spend. And I think I got in a Mind the Scrap kit since I last talked to you with a layout share, and so I'm using that, and I have switched out my scrap backwards kit, so I will no longer be working with the October kit, and I've pulled a single kit that'll work for me for November and December, so the rest of the year. So without further ado, and we have finished the 30 days of sketches and finished load, and I was doing a video every day. That's partly my excuse for not keeping up with posting on my Scrappy Kathy Facebook page or anywhere else other than Instagram and whatever page the challenge is for. But there's not quite as much going on now. I have intentionally kind of pulled back from the daily video stuff, although it seems like I'm doing them every day and a couple a day. But hopefully I can get back into the habit of communicating with you on all the platforms where you expect me. So this one is it's one of the 30 days of sketches. This sketch is by Miranda Weber, and I did it for load, and it was with my Mind the Scrap September kit is the supplies they use, and it's all 49 in market. Pretty sure there's a couple flare, but I think the rest of it's 49 in market. And I know that the technique prompt was to scrap in the style of your favorite scrapper. And so you all know how much I love Julie Taylor. And one of her techniques that I love is that when she does splatters, she'll draw ink circles around them. So I did that on a few. Okay, so enough about that. This was a page that I made for as a featured designer for Load. Excuse me, it was on the 25th, I think, it came out. And it was to talk about something that you envisioned that turned out differently or the same, or, you know, it was based on the song Just My Imagination. So I actually had found these plans that I had drawn up on the little tablet that we got at our office conference center. I don't know if I did these drawings during a conference, but if we did, don't tell them. don't tell them, they might take a paycheck back. And we were moving from our loft downtown to a house out up in the Woodlands where there was more room for the family to come visit. And we had this little kind of a bonus room that was through some French doors in the bedroom. And so I planned these desks, one on each wall, and so that John and I were in there. And I found some photos taken from later after we had done this. And the kind of cool thing is we used like little storage cubes that were not from IKEA and mixed with what were then called expedite units, which are now called Kallax units at IKEA. And then I got some door blanks. This was a narrower one and this was a wider one. And then I managed to fit in some filing cabinets, and I had all that kind of drawn out there. And so I just really, I love seeing this. What I especially love is the date that I took this photo was December 20th, I think. And he's wearing his swim trunks because we had been out in the pool. That's what I love about Houston. Okay, so enough about that. This was I did this for the Craft Plus challenge for last month. And it was my design team page for Dottie About Flair, or the Flair Hut. And I used this sketch from Scrappy Sketch. It's sketch number 46. And so I got out all my green flair. And I was going to fill this with other colors. And I decided I liked the craft showing through it. And with all of the green and a few other colors like the pinks and this red ladybug, I stamped and left these flowers and leaves black and white. And I think stamping was one of the tic-tac-toe elements. So I love that page. And Katie loved it too. So, and speaking of Katie, this one I did for Off the Board with Pineapple Papers. And there's kind of a story to this in that I saw this, I had this, and when I screen printed it without the name strip saying that it was designed for CSI, Color Stories Inspiration, by Natsuko Suzuki. And I just had the photo, and I had it in my pile of things that I'd screen printed from Pinterest. And so I thought it was a Pinterest pin. So I went ahead and made the page, and when I went out to find out who had done it, I searched all through my Pinterest pins, couldn't find it, started going through other like favorited sort of things, and then I found it, and it had the strip down below it, and I looked for it on Pinterest, and it was not on Pinterest. It must have been in Facebook or Instagram. So anyway, it wasn't strictly a Pinterest pin. It's just a plain old scrap lift. And because of that, I asked Natsuko if it was okay for me to lift her, and she gave me her permission. And I have since become a super fan because her work is absolutely amazing, and it's very different from anything that you see, from the normal things that you see, I guess. And I used my September or October Scrap Backwards kit that had all these Bella Boulevard and Doodlebug elements. And I also had these fussy cut leaves from Bramble Fox, where this ladybug came from. And these little flare-looking doohickeys are called Doodle somethings. Doodle, I don't know what they are. They're not, I've had a couple questions. They're not Dottie about Flare. They came, I bought them years and years and years ago before I knew about Dottie. And I had this little set of 4 left of them, and I just went ahead and used them all on this page. And because the colors were just perfect and the images were perfect for this. And this is Katie's, an example of her Halloween makeup skills. Okay, this one is also for 30 Days of Sketches, and it's, this was the sketch. I used washi tape, and instead of square photos, I used the same photo filtered, I don't know, 8 or 9 times, and I cut it out in circles, and I had a globe here. This was all to do for the load prompt for that day as well. This one was, let me see what particular challenge. Another 30 Days of Sketches sketch. It's for challenge accepted and 30 days. And I did, like I took a mask or a stencil, I guess, and did light colors of green Distress Oxides and made a sports page out of this. I love this page, and I like the pops of pink for one thing, and I like that I managed to tie in some blue to his uniform. I love the sequence of photos, and you know, all of us around the house are getting sentimental about this being Barrett's last year of high school football and all that implies. So this was a special page for me. And let's see. And this one had to do with the load prompt, and it may have been just for load, and it was based on the song Ain't No Mountain High Enough. And I used a cut file. Actually, this is 3 cut files. There was this one of the trees, and then this one of the lower mountains, and then this one of the higher mountains. All came from Redefine Creative, their Creative Cuts Club. And I had this photo that we took on our road trip of a mountain stream. You can see the lower mountains and the higher mountains back in the back. And this is from Simple Vintage Lakeside, and I used a lyric from a song called Deep in the West by just an amazing artist named Shake Russell. And I absolutely love this page, even though it kind of wasn't feeling particularly good that day, and it went together very quickly because I needed for it to. But I think that's one of my favorites. This one is the sketch, and it's for the load prompt on Friday. It was just load and 30 days. There was the prompt was to use ribbon. And so this crepe ribbon that I used here and then underneath the title there was what met that challenge. And I was really pretty darn proud to have found this. Everything in here was from the brand new that day. The Mind the Scrap kit had arrived. And so I got all of this stuff from that kit. And in that kit was a crosswire pattern like the one in the sketch. So I was happy with that. And then this was Friday's Mixed Media Mayhem. And this was the original. And then there's some testing I was doing back there. It's by Rika Kovason. The original is for AB Studio. And I absolutely love this page, just absolutely an amazing page. And I don't know if these circles were stamped or whatever, but I just used my die cutting machine and cut those. And I kind of did a page about an unusual grouping of people, two of my son's exes with all their kids, including his kids and kids that aren't his, that were theirs. And they were all sitting at Barrett's football game. So I had fun with the mixed media on this page. And I did this also for Pink Fresh Friday. And so these are Pink Fresh liquid watercolors that I used for the background and the splatters and so forth. And all these are Pink Fresh papers that I made the tags and the circles out of. Okay, so now we have another page that was done with my Mind the Scrap kit. It's load plus 30 days. It's this sketch. And the sketch is by Susanna Lee. And I love it. Very versatile sketch. And I had a lot of fun doing this. I love, this is the first print shop stuff I've used by Vicki Boutin. That's the first I have owned. I've been so tempted to order a bunch of it, but I think what I get in the Mind the Scrap kit plus the mini book kit that I ordered from Vicki herself for her class, I think that'll be enough. Trying to be sensible here. This is for Simple Stories Saturday, and I used this sketch. This was on the 29th, but I used the sketch for the 25th because I hadn't done it. I had done something else on the 25th. And so all of these papers are from older Simple Stories collections, but the Relax and the Hearts are from Simple Vintage Coastal, a newer collection. But as you can see, it all goes together. All all 5 of these papers, I think, come from different collections. And this came from You Are Here, and then a lot of these tropical foliage pieces are also from that collection, from a paper pad. This was for Scrap Squad Sunday. Let's see. And the original that we were lifting was this with the bold orange and black stripes and then the white centerpiece with everything centered down there. So I kind of went with a very old, wonderful spiderweb pattern from a Little Yellow Bicycle, and a lot of fussy cuts from Bella Boulevard, and I don't know where that came from, or this, or the spiders. They're from Home Decor, or this ghost. But I love this photo of the Grim Reaper, This was at a Mellow Mushroom pizza place in Stockbridge, Georgia. And this was about, I don't know, maybe 2013, 2012, 2013. And Katie was holding Ava, and Katie was acting scared for the photo, and Ava couldn't stop giggling. So that was kind of fun. This is probably one of my favorite pages I've ever done because I had no idea how it was going to turn out, and it turned out better than I thought. This was the sketch, and it looks like paper layers and some, layers behind the photo and some clusters and so forth. Created by Scrappy Girl 2018 or Canadian Scrapper Girl, Kathy Kathy Lang, and I had a blast. I used these Dina Wakley collage papers, and there was one pattern that had these stripes joined together by this seam, so I just kind of cut around the seam, and then I cut blocks and just put it on with matte medium, and it captured the bones, I guess, of the sketch. It followed those, and then as I began embellishing, I used some stickers that the kids gave me that had come in one of their trick-or-treat bags, and this little cluster up here ended up kind of looking like a scary eye. So I love it. This is a Halloween classic, this photo anyway, so it's great. This one was it was day 31 of 30 Days of Sketches, so we had an extra there, and that was the last day of load, and it's kind of about Ava being a survivor and going through a very dark period and then coming out into the light where she's kind of smiling that gorgeous smile now more often than she had been the last couple of years. So I had fun with this one. This one was a lot of stuff from my October Scrap Backwards kit. Last layout that I did with that kit, or will do with that kit. This is my guest design page for Craft Plus challenges, and their challenge for the month of November is to be inspired by song lyrics. And they've done a mood board with, a boombox, a stack of CDs, sheet music on a piano with a holiday scene in the back. It's got, lyrics on your display on your phone, neon signs saying girls just want to have fun and you are what you listen to. And then here's a record. They're just all of those things. I picked a Jimmy Buffett song called 12-Volt Man. And there's a line in it that says, ask for some palm trees and tales of the South Seas, and I just might turn your head. And it's a beautiful song, and it's a song in fact, when we heard him sing it in concert back in the 90s, I loved the song so much. It was kind of, I think, the first time I'd heard it, or it was, I kind of discovered it after it was out. I didn't discover it when it first came out, but when it was on a compilation set of CDs. So anyway, as we were walking out of the concert, there was a very unusual looking t-shirt for sale that had the most beautifully drawn palm trees, and it had those words, and the palm trees were in green and the words were in purple. And so, you had me at green and purple. And I've loved it, and I play that song all the time. Alexa plays it for me. In fact, if I haven't asked her to play it, she suggests it for me sometimes when I come down for breakfast. So what I did here, and there's a video out there, I have some masks. This one is a seaweed mask, and this one is a palm tree. I had a couple others, but I just used those two. And I used light colored Distress Oxides, which have that powdery, kind of shadowy look. I used a bluish color here and a greenish color there. And I used a giant photo that's one of the iconic kinds of photos that represents the incredible serenity that we enjoyed on our South Pacific cruise back in 2015. And that's one of my favorite photos. I've probably scrapped it a few times now, but never quite this big and never alone and never with all this beautiful simple vintage coastal stuff all around it. And then these seashells were from my stash, and I have quite a stash of such things. So I love this, and I love how that shows up on the craft. It's just one of my favorite things. And this is one I did on Halloween night to honor Christy of Christy's Beautiful Life, Christy Harriman, who was celebrating her 10,000 her 10 years on YouTube and her 5,000 subscribers. And I had left, when I put away my October Scrap Backwards kit, I left the Halloween stuff because it goes in a different place. So the Halloween stuff was still there, and I had this photo of a spooky cat that I had intended to use somewhere else but didn't. And I had this invitation to a potion party that Katie and Allie gave years ago. And I had this ribbon and just some stickers and some papers to fussy cut. And so I made this page, and I love it. Again, a classic, Halloween page. A great memory. This cat has been around every year. We use this cat for our Halloween decorations, and every year he goes in a different place. And he's kind of reminiscent of a black cat that John and I had called Iggy, named after the character in Taxi, Jim Ignatowski. And so we we kind of put, this year he's kind of out on the front porch with another cat, so he's got some competition there. But that year we kind of had him sticking through the rails of the stairway coming down from the bedrooms upstairs on the top floor. So anyway, that's it. That's all I've got. And I will see you either Friday, Saturday, or Sunday this week, I promise. And thank you for watching. There should be, because most of these used sketches from Christy's 30 Days of Sketches. I think there are videos for all of these. So if you check my Scrappy Cathy channel that you're on now watching this, and if you missed any of these, I'd love for you to go check them out. And leave me a like and a comment, and let me know what you'd like to see more of. Thanks a lot. Bye.